Hello, let's go. Welcome back to our show this evening as we look at the fantasy baseball players of the month for April, along with our Who's Hot and Not Go Get and Cut segments. But before all that, we begin the show by asking you the question, where else would you rather be than right here? Boom! Right now, you're looking live at our split studios. This is Fantasy Baseball Now, episode 85, part of our show, Ball9.com podcast network. There will be I will be leading a prayer service for Tarik Skubal owners. I am one of you. I am hurting. Life goes on. Next man up.
Not good.
No.
Not good. Before we talk about that, also follow us on our YouTube channel, on our Instagram channel, on our Facebook channel, on our Twitter, the app formerly known as Twitter, our X feed. Smash the like button, subscribe, do whatever, keep tuning in.
All that stuff. We're worth it.
Well, we believe we are. I mean, we're waiting for you guys to show it, but we do believe it.
Now, that's what my therapist tells me. So yeah.
Yeah, in a week where we get Zach Wheeler back and dealing, Spencer Strider back and not so much dealing, but back. We lose Tarik Skubal, Joe Ryan, Brandon Woodruff.
Yep.
Yet many of us can't wait to draft a pitcher in the first 2 rounds like assholes because we haven't learned after 30 something years that
37.
your whole season could get flushed down the toilet by taking a pitcher early or a closer early, but taking any pitcher early and then they get hurt and you decided because you were set. I'm set. Oh man, I got the king of kings. I got the number 1 ranked pitcher in fantasy. I don't have to do anything. Then they get hurt and you neglect pitching for 8 rounds. And then you end up with a staff of guys that you're pasting it together with. And some of us can do that. And
I could live with it if Brian Wood gets somebody out and maybe throw.
We're going to talk about him tonight
now and then.
Just for you.
Jesus, he's killing me. Look, it's next man up. You invest in pitchers, high, medium, low. They're all susceptible to these arm injuries. They could happen to any guy at any time. That's the reason why in our league, 5-man bench, I have 1 hitter on the bench and I have 4 pitchers. I want depth for stuff like this. And I'm just praying. Put it out there in the cosmos. Quick recovery for Scoobs.
But from a baseball standpoint, from a Detroit Tigers standpoint, not a good night for Framber to go out and be a human torch and get completely obliterated 2 days after your ace of your staff. And the reason you're going to maybe go to the World Series announces he's having surgery and he's out 2 to 3 months. I get it for him. For him, I get it because he's got 200 million reasons why he wants to have that surgery now.
Yeah.
And not trying to pitch through it because an ineffective season and then, I need surgery costs him a ton of money in the offseason if there is one. And
it's killer for Detroit because now they can't trade him. They're not going to get what you would have if he was healthy in July because he may not be back.
He'll be back. He'll be back. He'll be back. He'll be back. If I was going to guess, he'll be back September, Labor Day. And then he'll make
pure karma.
He'll make a ton of money in September.
It's karma because one of our co-owners in our league was noting how bad his team was doing over the prior few days last week. And then I just chimed in and I said, and you lost Acuna to injury. And doesn't it come around because he's the one that notified me of the Skubal injury. So, Todd, I hope you enjoyed that victory lap.
Yeah, there's 2 things I think that are destined to give you bad karma. You're learning one as we speak. Announcing yourself as Mr. First Place in April brings bad karma.
I've fallen behind Mr. Bob too tonight.
Yeah, you're like
I need a parachute.
yeah, you do need a parachute. You're
Yeah,
you're
well,
you're you're like the rabbit in the Kentucky Derby who ended up finishing 13th.
all right.
But
I'm not having fun anymore. What about the players of the month?
what about the players of the month? So this is straight. So this is straight, and I did get yours. So and most of yours around here, and there's a couple you can talk about that.
Yeah, I'll talk about them. I mean, there's a lot of deserving guys.
So this is straight out of head-to-head points, CBSSportsline.com. So there's no conjecture. There's no, this was the player of the month. National League Hitter of the Month. Unbelievable. Unbelievably, it's Medals with 136 points. And because this friggin', I thought our producer was going to help us this week, and he didn't.
Yeah, I thought one of us wrote off Olson's career last year. That would be me.
Yeah, and then the next guy, I mean, Nico Horner, we were both kind of tepid on him coming in.
You're right. I didn't like his home run rate.
Well, he had an unbelievable April.
Yeah.
Your guy, who's probably going to end up being catcher one.
I don't know.
Who's going to end up being catcher one. I think he will be by the time. I mean, William Contreras is also having a good year. Baldwin's he's up to 30 RBIs.
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
I mean, everybody was on the Sal Stewart train, loving Sal Stewart as the front runner for Rookie of the Year. He's done nothing but prove that getting off to this start at 120 head-to-head points. And who you can't see on here because of our screen layout is CJ Abrams is number 5 at 115 points. And we were both way down on him too. So I didn't add ADP, which I had considered doing, but I think it's too early. I think it's too early to add ADP, but if we were going to guess, Olson was probably in the 30s.
He probably was. He had the big
first base went fast, right? First base went pretty quick.
But CJ Abrams, 23 RBIs is fantastic for a shortstop. He doesn't score a ton of runs. Hitting 308 for April, 8 homers, 5 steals. The guy not on the list that really is I'm a little surprised his points weren't as high was James Wood. 9 homers, 21 ribs, 27 runs, and 5 steals. He kind of
a lot of but don't forget strikeouts are negative points in head-to-head.
You're right.
So that's definitely a thing, right? Strikeouts are head-to-head in fantasy points. The NL 1 through 5 ADP was Ohtani the hitter, Soto, Acuna, Ellie De La Cruz, who's just behind Abrams.
Yep. And
Kyle Tucker. And we won't talk about Fernando Tatis because I was in the Diamond Degenerates League today. I was in a text string where the owner of Olson was 38. The owner of Fernando Tatis was literally considering my offer of one of Deshaun Watson's masseuses.
Massage therapist. No, it's massage therapist.
Yeah, whatever. Something like that.
Yeah, I know.
American League. This is no surprise because he's been on complete fire, and that is Jordan, and he's crazy. He's crazy. I can't think of. He gives me a vibe somewhere between Fred McGriff and Carlos Delgado, and it's because he's left-handed that it's just terrifying every time he comes to bat.
We talked about him a week or two ago. He's got a bat in his hand. scares the crap out of you if you're rooting against them, which I do every single game they play.
Right, but Ben Rice at 135 points, Trout at 127,
Yeah.
Arson Judge at 121, and then Jose Ramirez, who got off to a really kind of bad start for him. He doesn't strike out. He steals bases, so he piles up points in head-to-head. He piles up points. But it's no shock with 2 Braves on the hitter and 2 Yankees on the hitter that their records are what they are. And it'll be even less of a shock when we go to pitchers, because National League pitcher Chris Sale at 86, that surprised me. Mason Miller at 74.33, that's a shitload of points for a relief pitcher. That's a lot. And it's the strikeouts.
Yep.
The fact that Tyler Glasnow is not hurt and is the 3rd rated pitcher head to head is really surprised me.
He logged 38 2/3 innings in April. Is that a career high?
That's a pre-All-Star break performance for him.
Jeez.
Still hasn't gotten a haircut. And Corbin Burns has been great. And there was an article today on ESPN, I think it was on ESPN, that are we now going to start talking about Ohtani the pitcher better than being Ohtani the hitter?
That's also because his hitting hasn't been up to his standard yet.
You got to get pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, he walks a ton. He doesn't get anything to hit. And you're not going to start your game off. I mean, it's bad enough you already know you got this deluge of a lineup that's going to bombard you at some point. You don't want to start off down 1-0. You don't want to start off down 1-0 just because you don't want to start off down 1-0. And then in the American League, and this is definitely going to change, but Cam Schlittler and Jose Soriano are tied in points. Neither of them were great last night. Soriano was far worse than Schlittler. Gavin Williams, who's having an iffy start tonight, is 3. Max Fried is 4, and Tyler Warren is 5. So the Yankees have 2 hitters and 3 pitchers in the top 5 in head-to-head points for the month of April.
Where was Parker Messick?
Parker Messick was Parker Messick might have been 6th.
Okay.
I knew you were going to bring him up.
2.08 ERA, 33 Ks, 0.98 whip.
He was not.
It could be a lack of wins. He only had 2 wins in April.
Parker Messick was. Oh, I can only do free agents in the.
Okay, sorry.
I gotta go. I gotta get off the app. I'm still we've only been using the new app on CBS for 2 months, and you'd think I would be.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
You think I'd be used to it, and I'm just still struggling from time to time with that, but I will find it. I will find it pretty quickly here. He was.
Hey, while you're looking that up, you talk about April. You ever see anybody dominate the way Mizorowski has? Just that strikeout rate, 51 in 32 innings. Throwing a no-hitter last week, and he tweaks his hamstring. I'm like, come on, kid, you got to stay healthy. I want to enjoy that.
So Warren was 62.67 points. Ethan Hancock is 55.67, and Messick is 56.33.
All right.
And from a roto standpoint, Messick's ERA and WHIP is lower, a little bit lower than Hancock. And both of their ERAs and WHIP are lower than Will Warren. And they're all in the same strikeout range, 46, 44. But then when you add three wins in. Once you add the wins in, and then you take the walks away, Warren gets a little bit of an edge. But yeah, guys that were like, there are guys on this list that were. I mean, Soriano we've talked about ad nauseum. Schlittler was probably drafted. Schlittler's ADP was, if I was going to guess, it's in the 120s.
Yeah.
He was going after Nolan McLean in a lot of leagues. So, but they were going kind of like together. Like somebody would take Schlittler and then somebody would take McLean.
Yeah.
But Todd must have already seen our slide deck because he just picked up somebody that we're going to talk about for 2 starts for next week.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a visionary.
He's like the grand poobah. But I think what stands out more on this is no Skubal, no Skeens, no Christopher Sanchez, no Yamamoto.
Well, all the guys you mentioned haven't been bad.
No Brian Wu. Like all pitchers that were drafted. Fried was a higher ADP, but a lot of these guys were not.
Yeah.
And you just can't trust pitching. I mean, you just can't.
No. Look, the first rule of pitching is, one, you can get all the good pitchers you want. You hate to say sometimes it comes down to luck, but injuries sometimes can be luck or bad luck. You got to deal with it. That's why you build depth.
And the in the injury perspective of between hitters and pitchers, like Ben Rice is out right now with a bruised hand. He'll probably play tomorrow. He's available off the bench tonight. I still don't know if Mizorowski's making a start this week. Woodruff goes on the IL with a tired arm. That could be a month.
Yeah, that's bad.
Like Skubal's 2 to 3 months. Like you can't, like, losing those key guys, those high ADP guys out of your lineup. It doesn't matter if it's roto or head to head. It can crush you. Since we've been doing this for a million years, and some of you that are tuning in are going to have to look this name up on the Google. What year was Oral Hershiser the number 1 pick?
1990, the first year of our league.
And then he got hurt
pick ever. The first pick ever in the TSBF.
And he didn't pitch an inning that year.
Yeah. It started way back when, and it's been a consistent theme. You just never know.
I mean, 36 years of data is pretty good. Is enough of a data point that we should all know better. Yet we don't.
But you got to have you got to go get good pitchers. You just hope they come with good health.
Right.
That's the thing. I went and got Skubal in the offseason and Gunnar Henderson for Witt. Gunner's been fine. Average got to come up. But you go get the best pitcher in the game. You go get him. And, because he hasn't had an injury thing for a couple of years now. But that's the way it goes. So you got to, like I said, you got to have some depth. Next man up. Do the best you can.
Exactly.
And pray to God Brian Wu becomes Brian Wu, because he is testing my patience.
Yeah, I'm going to give you more time to vent about him shortly. Let's go to who's hot, and let's talk about if we're buying these guys while we're talking about who's hot.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'd never heard of Mr. Vargas till very recently. He's 34 years old. His last 21, hitting a paltry 369 with 5 homers, 16 RBIs, and 11 runs. 382 on the season. He's owned in 82%, started in 59. I can't imagine why you wouldn't play him if you owned him. That's the odd part about that split. I would have expected it to be closer. I don't think I could buy a guy who's, given his age, has never really done this before.
No, he's going to be on an 80-game suspension ban soon.
He's an aberration until he's not. So
yeah,
I wouldn't.
A 27 game, like 24 games to start the season and 27 in total hitting streak is impressive.
Yeah.
And his power's up, but if you look at his career, he's closing in on as many at bats as he's ever had in a major league season.
Yeah.
It's his second go around with Arizona. So he's already been there once. He had one half decent year with Washington. When you'd think that with Washington, you have a little bit of a decent year, you could supplant yourself, or you could supplant someone and set yourself in that lineup. And no, I'm not buying him, and I'm not buying my guy Davis Martin. I'm not buying him a little bit because I'm not buying a White Sox pitcher, but he's up to 87% owned and 76% started. I
have him in the head-to-head league. I like him.
He's 12 overall.
Last name.
I said cut the guy that had my last name. Fucking Homer. So his last 3 starts, he's had 2 quality starts, 2 wins. Most impressive, 19 innings, 24 strikeouts, a 105 whip, and a .95 ERA. He's a must-start pitcher right now until he's not.
Yeah.
He looks great. He's the last guy that you would think of like as an up-and-coming White Sox pitcher that you would be targeting right now and would be hot. All the rest of them aren't. That's the downside.
Yeah.
All the rest of them are not. And then the who's cold. You love this one.
Yeah, Mr. Teammate out in San Francisco, Mr. Iron Glove. Mister, you didn't give me enough notice that I have to change positions because I can't field for a shit. And you need me to go to first base. But then you told me I was just a DH. So screw you. I'm not going to get a glove. If you're going to be like that, and God bless the 70% of people who are still starting him, 214, 3 runs, no homers, 8 RBIs in his last 21, which earns him a rank on CBS of 713. That's a bad team with a bad manager, a bad makeup, a bad everything, and he's leading the way.
They just don't hit.
No.
And you can't point to one of them because Adames isn't hitting, Elliot Ramos isn't hitting. I mean, Casey Schmidt's probably their best offensive player, which is not good. They just don't hit. And I don't know what the hell they're watching. If they're watching Tom Lemansky tapes, I don't know what they're watching. They don't hit. That's why I look at them every time there's a 2-start pitcher and who's facing the Giants, because I always like the matchup. And then your guy, who you've already vented a little bit about,
strike somebody out.
I don't know why you're upset. I don't know why you're upset.
I'll tell you why I was upset. I turned in the game the other night in the first inning, home against the Royals. He's down 4-0. That's why.
He's had 2 starts in the last 14 days. He made it through 9 innings.
How many strikeouts in those 9 innings? Maybe 4?
He had 3.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
But when you add the 1.78 whip and the 13 ERA, 13 even ERA, that's ungood. He'll be fine.
I need him to be a leader for Team Pugsley Baseball with Tarik Skubal out.
He'll be fine. He was the number 5 or number 6 drafted pitcher in every single friggin' league across every platform. He's still 98% owned. You can't cut him.
No, don't cut him.
He's 72% started. You can't not start him.
Not yet.
You can't. He's too good.
Yeah, you can't do it yet. But geez, let's go.
It's too there is the thought, and we have talked about this before, where I can't start this idiot right now, and if he goes out and has a great start and he's on my bench, then so be it. Yeah, when your name is Brady Singer, you can do that. You know what I mean? When your name, when you're Kyle Harrison, when you're Luis Heel, okay, he had a great start. Maybe I'll put him in for next week. When you're this guy, you can't not start him.
Yeah.
Like you can't, because there's too much. The body of work is too big of him being really good to panic on a guy like him. But right now he sucks. He's terrible.
Thanks.
And they're still winning games. I already had him in mind. I already had him in mind. And then when I did a stat lookup and it came up on your team and TSBF, then it just, all right, I'm definitely doing it. And to go get him, you beat me to your guy. You beat me to your guy.
I picked him up in all leagues when I heard he was pitching and he was up, because I love Logan Henderson. I've been on him. I had him on my team last year for the Cup of Coffee before they got him back to save his arm. He started and owned him 54%, started in 14. I didn't start him this week. Just the Yankee offense is just killing people. But AAA this year, 1.02 ERA, 1.22 WHIP, 26-9 strikeout to ball ratio. And I'll remind people out there, he was called up last year before Mizorowski. I think
yes, he was.
He was, and he was there early. Then they sent him back to manage his innings, brought him back up. He hurt his arm just a little bit. But Logan Henderson, I picked him up in all my leagues the other day because I think he's going to get a real good look now.
And then my guy, Nathan Church, I've gone Cardinals back-to-back weeks, which makes me a little bit nervous about what I'm looking at. In the last 2 weeks, he's 283, 4 homers, 10 RBI, 6 runs, and a steal. He's only 30% owned, and there's outfielders that are performing far worse than him.
Yeah.
And 23% started. But he's got 107 at-bats on the season. So he's had most of his at-bats in the last couple of weeks since they started playing him regularly.
Yep.
And he's producing. And I mean, I don't know how you don't go get him.
I've been staring.
Ramon Laureano, who's making me want to drive a stake in my eye, and I can't take him out because if I decide to take him out of the lineup, he homers like he did last night in a bullshit game. He always finds a way to pile stats. But like, would you rather have Nathan Church or Varsho? Right now, I'd rather have Church.
Yeah, I've been looking at Church for a couple of weeks now. I haven't acted on it yet, but I want to see a little more. Oh, and here's another guy who's not, by the way, since Lawrence Butler, get your head out of your ass. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, he's yeah.
My God.
Well, your guy, I only been saying it since they signed him. Been saying it. I hate to be the Debbie Downer guy and say that he's not a closer. Hate to say it. Hate to keep bringing up the led the league in homers allowed last year, and they still made it to an unbelievable World Series. Hate to say it.
Who are the 42% owners starting him? And I have soft spot for Jeff Hoffman. He went to the same high school my kids are going to go to. But
I got no soft spot for Jeff.
And Louis Varland is kicking ass in that role. So
So the only reason I would think that you would still be starting him if you had him is that you're in a league where holds are a thing.
But even then, I don't know. That's why I said cut him, even on holds league.
I agree.
I 6.14 ERA and 1.84 WHIP. I mean, those are bad numbers. And from a guy that was a big question mark to start the year.
Yeah. It feels like they were waiting for a reason to make a move. And
he gave him plenty.
And he gave him plenty. And then my guy, 3 years of him, I've been waiting for him to break out. He broke out when they called him up, and he's been injured and underperforming ever since. And like Evan Carter, he's still 41% owned. I have no idea why. 16% started. I have less of an idea why. He's hitting 170. He does have 5 stolen bases, but 3 homers, 9 RBIs, 11 runs. And I get it. Texas is a funky lineup, but he's losing playing time to Leotis Taveras, to Andrew McCutchen. He only plays because Langford's hurt. Like, they just don't know what to do with him anymore. He's probably a change of scenery guy, but he's certainly not a guy to have.
By the way, Framber Valdez, you touched on him earlier. He gave up a couple back-to-back homers, and then on the next pitch, plunks Trevor Story.
Well,
he got excused from the game down 10-2.
Well, at least he didn't hit his catcher.
That's true. At least he hit the opponent this time. Getting better.
He's becoming more of a teammate. He learned his lesson. He didn't meet with Raft Evers before he had that conversation. And then to look ahead, Washington, where I will be on Thursday with 35 of my closest friends.
Sweet. I like the Nats this week. They're 4th in MLB in runs scored. You wouldn't know it by their record because they can't pitch, but they can hit. And especially in Cincy. The Nationals have a great road record this year. The home record not so much. Baltimore could be a nice cure for them because they can't get out of their own way. Wood, Abrams, go off.
Yeah, look, they're not dissimilar from the Astros. Like, I mean, you can score a ton of runs. You can score as many runs. I mean, you can score 1 million runs, but if you give up 1,000,001, you're losing games. And they're both at the Astros and the Nationals are both at the bottom of the league in runs allowed, and they're both near the top of the league in runs scored.
Yes,
not a recipe for success.
That's a recipe for a lot of overs, if that's your thing. But
if you had
that's your jam,
Yeah, look at it. Yeah, right. I mean, if you need to make a little extra money on the side because your real hustle's not working, then bet the over on Nationals games. That's not a bad, and on Astros games. Not a good way to go. Nice little parlay right there.
Absolutely.
And then I got the D-backs because Texas is, I don't know how the hell they were in first place. I mean, they were a game under 500 and in first place in the West, which is just insane to me. But
it's about as amazing as the NL Central having everybody over 500.
Yeah. Yes. But I like the Arizona going to Texas and at Colorado.
Yes.
Who, remarkably, the Rockies starting pitching has been pretty good. But if you watch box scores like we do, and you see the Rockies up 6-2 in the 7th, and then you look 5 minutes later and it's 11-6, you know they went to their bullpen.
Yes.
You know they went to their bullpen. And I can't believe that you picked the most boring player in Major League Baseball.
Well, yeah, but hey, his last 3 starts, 1.47 ERA, 15 strikeouts in 18 innings. You could live with that. He started in 35% of leagues. I would caution anybody that's listening to this advice. I would go out and get yourself some antacid tablets for his starts at home next week against Miami and Milwaukee. You'll probably need them. But if you need a guy for that 5th spot that's got 2 starts, you could do worse than Bailey Ober. And I never thought I'd say that.
I think Ober is Swedish for vanilla. And then Todd, who obviously saw the show before we aired the show. Maybe he's from the future. I don't know. He just picked up Peter Lambert, and as much as their pitching has sucked, he's probably been their best pitcher. Rockies cast off Peter Lambert, and he's got Seattle at home and Texas at home. And the reason I like the matchups, even though he's got Kirby and DeGrom next week in his matchups, both of those teams could be shut out at any minute. They could both score 15 runs too, but they could equally be shut out. and he's only in the 30s for ownership. And if you need a reach, and you need a 2-start pitcher, and you got Merrill Kelly on your roster, you might as well go. You might as well take two opportunities at bad starts as opposed to the one bad start you're going to get. I had so many candidates for who to cut this week that I literally just put them in a hat and drew a name. Merrill Kelly, Royce Lewis. I was going to turn. I was going to turn on my. I'm at that stage in my relationship with Royce Lewis where I hate him now.
You should hate him.
No, but I finally realized he was abusing me.
Well,
and somebody finally talked sense into me, and I finally saw it for what it was, as opposed to, he'll be okay. It's my fault, like that kind of thing. But it wasn't my fault. It's his fault. He sucks.
So you were enabling him.
I was enabling him. And thanks to, a good long look in the mirror, 5.5 hours of therapy and a half a bottle of bourbon, I finally realized that it's him. It's not me. I've done nothing to deserve. I don't need this. Yeah. Therapy and a bourbon bottle. Probably my daughter would be not happy. She would be very unhappy.
Hey, whatever you got to do to get yourself through the day, it's okay. It's okay.
Exactly.
All right. Now, looking ahead, next week we are a Wednesday go, correct?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, we are. We are a Wednesday go. Jacob deGrom. Yankees spotted him 3. He gave them all back. That's not
good to hear. I almost traded for him the other night, and this value could go down a little bit.
Darling of the week, Cade Cavalli. Not great.
What kind of bourbon is the question on the table here?
Bullet. Tonight is Bullet. Tonight is Bullet bourbon. Chris Bassett with a somewhat ineffective start, but not nearly as ineffective as Sandy Alcantara. Jesus.
Oh, by the way, we have started a new feature. Sorry, Mike, on our Twitter account. We are handing out our players of the day first thing in the morning. We award them coffees because why not? So our 3 stars each morning, usually have that up by 6 a.m. if you want to start your fantasy baseball day that way.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a good. Sometimes you see a name and you're like, maybe I got to look this up. Matt McClain does suck. He's next on the list of cut. While we were mentioning the Marlins, I made this point yesterday when Austin Ramirez got sent down and Joe Mack got called up. Catcher rankings, I don't know what the ADP was, but I do know that you had Ramirez 9 and I had Ramirez 5.
Wow.
And at the time we did this, Ramirez was he was a 76 ADP guy.
They bailed on him quick.
He was the number 5 catcher. Raleigh, Contreras, Langoliers, Rice. No, he was 6. Hunter Goodman and then Ramirez were the top 6. And boy, did they. Now they may be sending him down to learn first base because Hicks and Mack are far better defensive catchers than Ramirez.
Yep.
Far better. So maybe they're sending him down to play first base, but boy.
It's an amazing. I was stunned when I heard he got sent out.
Yeah, I mean, and plus he was okay.
His numbers aren't that god awful.
He wasn't as bad. He wasn't as good as last year. But in that lineup, I mean, he was hitting 230. He had 14 runs, 2 homers, 14 RBIs, and 3 steals. And he was hitting 230. Last year he was 231, 21 homers, 16 stolen bases, 67 RBIs, and 72 runs. So a month in, he was on almost the exact same pace as he was except for power. He was on almost the exact same pace that he was on last year.
Yeah.
From a production standpoint. And they have to be sending him down to play first base. There can't be any other explanation.
You can't work on him during the day and let him hit his way out of his little slump. That's the odd part.
It's not the new major leagues. They don't do fielding practice anymore. These guys are too busy on their socials and.
Well, try it.
I mean, yes, they should have been having him take 10,000 ground balls at first base, and brought former Marlin Fred McGriffin to work with him. And just
that's what Scott Hatterberg did in the movie Moneyball, and look how that turned out. He had a big home run that September.
There you go. And you know the Giants are so happy with Devers at first base that they called Eldridge up.
Sure.
He might be a must-add guy. He's a large human. He's a large human being.
Yes, he is.
He's a large man. he's a large man. So is Oren Kerstead, and I don't even know where he's playing right now. So,
yep.
I think he's in Baltimore, but nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows who's playing in Baltimore anymore.
No, they have absolutely botched that entire thing. All right, so we are next Wednesday. Is that correct?
We are Wednesday.
All right. Awesome.
We are Wednesday as graduation season's in full go. College graduation season's in full go. And fortunately / unfortunately, I have 3 graduations in 5 days to attend. So
sweet.
Yeah, it'll be great. But
get some of the bullet going.
Can some of these people get a job and start paying me back? I can give you I'll be able to give you a report on my Knicks Sixers Game 4 visit, which my future son-in-law decided to buy a ticket to bring me to. I'm like, you're an idiot.
You'll be welcomed warmly.
I will be beaten to a pulp on Sunday. There might not be a Wednesday show. I will be. If you look at Nationals highlights on Thursday's game, I will be sitting in the first baseman's view with a Montreal Expos hat on because they stole the Expos. And and that's the week. And then hopefully at this time next week, I'll still be in first place.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I can get a head-to-head week going where I don't have negative points to start the week like I have for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm sorry. My team sucks in head-to-head. Anyway, we got to hang in there, Team Pugsley. We can endure the Skubal injury. We will overcome. You two can out there, you other Skubal owners. Figure it out.
Yeah, the only guy that I wanted to have multiple shares of that I never found a way to get multiple shares of, and now I'm glad I don't have multiple shares of. And Brian Wu is another one. I got beat to him. I got sniped on him on pretty much every single league.
Yeah. He's got to get it going.
He will.
Need you, Brian. All right. Next Wednesday.
Peace.
Boom. See ya.
Peace. Got Merrill Kelly.